Kai here with Kaitaku. I'm so excited to bring everyone my reading wrap up for Shay's Manga Love Challenge. I had so much fun with this challenge and I actually got a chance to finish all of the prompts. We started out a little slow, so I wasn't sure if I was going to finish, and then we've got our journal spread. So I actually got a chance to finish all 9 prompts. So I will link up here to my TBR video, and I will link to Shay's announcement video in the description. But Shay Geeks Out, Shay at Shay Geeks Out, hosted the Manga Love Challenge. And this, I believe, is a yearly challenge that she hosts. One in the spring in February and another one in the fall, and that's her Fall into Manga Love Challenge, which I actually did participate. And if you want to see that video, I'll link it as well. So I had enjoyed falling into love with these manga and getting a chance to read all of the different prompts. And so she had 9 different prompts, and I actually found a book for each prompt. So let me tell you about what I read, because I had a great time. So first off, I read volume 4 of Prince Freya. Prince Freya is slowly becoming a very top contender for me as far as stories go. I'm really enjoying Freya as she is becoming stronger as a person and as she's realizing her place as the prince. And so Freya is a story about our young girl here, Freya, who is asked to impersonate the prince because the prince has been poisoned. And so now she is trying to lead her army. She is trying to help her country, which is in the middle of war. And she kind of starts off very Yona-ish as our, crybaby, sheltered sort of girl. I mean, she grows up in the country. She has her 2 older adopted brothers that take care of her. And so they call her a little bit like a mountain monkey because she's always climbing things, and she grew up in the mountains, climbing the mountains and things of that nature. And so she starts off as kind of this sheltered country girl, and then she's starting to slowly grow into herself and become an inspiration for her people and for her men during a time of war. And I am really enjoying seeing her grow that confidence within herself and seeing her become a stronger and stronger character, and then seeing all the characters around her starting to change with her and starting to become that support that she needs, but also seeing the best in themselves as they get closer to her. So this is definitely, I would highly, highly recommend Prince Freya if you haven't checked it out. It's such a good story. If you like Yona, I think you'll like this one as well. So I actually read this for the Finish a Series prompt, and I did basically finish a current series. And so Freya's not done. There will be more volumes. However, 4 is what is out so far. So I am all caught up with Freya. The next prompt that I read was read the first 3 volumes of a series. And for that, I picked Maki and Joji's Happy Marriage. I love Maki Joji, and I have talked about her multiple times on this channel. She did SP Baby, she did An Incurable Case of Love, which I am absolutely loving as new volumes come out. And so I was very happy to finally get volumes 1 and 3 in of Happy Marriage, because I ordered the full 10 volumes of Happy Marriage months and months and months ago from Right Stuff, but volumes 1 and 3 were out of stock. And so it's taken about 4 months, but I now have all 10. And so I started this during the Manga Love Challenge, and I absolutely adored it. I think that I'm going to do a video just on Happy Marriage just because I loved it so much, and I now have finished the entire series. But it was definitely cute. These first 3 volumes, I think, set up the story really well. We have our main character, and Chiwa is having to get married to Hokoto, and her marriage to him will get her father out of debt. Her father's in crippling debt. She's having to work at host clubs, and so, as well as a day job. And so getting married to him will cancel out her debt, and then he's got his own reason for getting married to her, which we kind of find out as the volumes go along. And so his grandfather sets it up, and his grandfather is like, look, if you don't marry her, you're not going to be president of the company anymore, which means you're not going to be a contender to be heir. So, and his grandfather was actually in love with her grandmother forever ago, which is why he's like, yes, if I get the two of you married, then that means my bloodline will mingle with her bloodline, which didn't get to happen when I was in love with her. So, grandfather is here for selfish reasons, but I thoroughly enjoyed it and would recommend happy marriage. Next, I chose start a series, and I wanted to start a series that I am up to date on, which means I have over 20 volumes of it, and I still hadn't started it, and that was Yona of the Dawn. I am in love with the anime. I've seen the anime. I've seen all 3 OVAs. I wish we could get more. I don't understand with it being so popular why we don't have more of the manga, of the anime, but like Yona of the Dawn, highly, highly, highly recommend. This first volume gripped me the same way the first episode did, and I cannot wait to read a more in-depth changing of Yona. That was one of the things that I really loved about the anime, was that Yona starts out as this princess, this spoiled 16-year-old princess who has gotten everything that she wanted because she's got a pacifist father who's the king, and so she's always getting, you know, whatever dresses and hair bows and things that she wants. And you see her slowly but surely become a warrior who is going to take back her kingdom after the betrayal and murder of her father, which, you know, all is in the back of the book description, so no spoilers. So I am very excited to continue this. I'm probably going to be extremely sad when I catch up and have to wait for each volume to come out in time. But I'm so glad that I finally started Yona. I highly, highly recommend Yona. I cannot recommend it enough. I think this is one of the many, many, many series of shoujo that cross over that is enjoyable for like all demographics. I really kind of dislike that it's set up in sort of like gendered demographics, but I think Yona is one of those ones that all demographics can enjoy regardless of age or gender. Next, I read I think it's a Shay favorite, and that is the Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. I believe this was on Shay's top 20 of 2020 manga, and so this was actually cuter than I thought it was going to be. I was kind of skeptical when I picked it up. Like, I was excited to pick it up because pretty much everything that Shay recommends I have enjoyed so far. I don't think I've been too far off if I've taken a recommendation from her channel. But I was a little skeptical because, you know, we've got a beast in our princess, and I was just trying to figure out, like, were we going for a Beauty and the Beast vibe? Was he going to change into human? Like, what were we doing here? But loved it. I believe I gave it, let's check. Yep, I gave it 4 stars. So thoroughly enjoyed this one. I'm ready for more. I would definitely continue reading this series. It is about our King of Beasts here, and the beasts kind of have their own kingdom, and there's this miasma that's around the kingdom, and so that, I guess, the humans don't get eaten, they send a sacrifice to the king every year, and that sacrifice is supposedly devoured, and, you know, that keeps the King of Beasts from killing the humans. And so our little Seraphi here is sent as the sacrifice this year. And Seraphi actually grew up to be the sacrifice. She grew up with a family, and the family was basically like, we took this girl in so we wouldn't have to sacrifice our daughter when the time came for our town to pick a sacrifice. And so Seraphi has grown up kind of feeling lonely and the disdain of humans because she was ultimately to be the sacrifice. And so when she gets to the Beast Kingdom, she and our king here really kind of bond fairly quickly, and she sheds this new light into the kingdom that he hasn't really experienced. And so he decides to, you know, make her, like, let her stay, in a sense. And so I'm very excited to see where this goes and to see how the two of them and their dynamic continue to play out over the course of the series. Next was to read, come here. Next was to read a recommendation. And so this was another one that I picked up from one of Shay's videos, and it's the Apothecary Diaries. And so this was a cute one. I'm interested to see how it goes. This guy right here is in the, I guess the concubines have their own area. And so he kind of like watches over them and reports back to the king what's going on. And then this girl was a servant. And before she was a servant, she was an apothecary, and she was kidnapped and sold into servitude in the king's palace. And she has ended up in kind of like the area where the king keeps his harem. And so she ends up figuring out what's going on and as the king's heirs continue to die, she figures out what's going on. And so the king's like favorite courtesan is then very impressed with her and asks her to work in her quarters. And so I'm interested to see how this keeps going, because they've kind of let her be an apothecary, and they're kind of letting her like make medicine and things of that nature. So I'm excited to see how this one keeps going, because the dynamic between her and him is absolutely hilarious to me, because he's used to people falling all over him and like seeing how attractive he is. And she's like, you're a bug beneath my shoe, and I'm gonna look at you that way. And he gets a huge kick. He's like, every time she looks at me like I am less than nothing. And he gets a huge kick out of that, because everyone has always been stunned by how attractive he is. So adorable, ready to get more of this. And so the last of the 9 prompts was reread a series, and I chose to reread Therapy Game. Therapy Game is a duology. It is a BL. It is, words cannot even describe this series, as well as the main story, Secret XXX. So this is the main story, and then this is a side story that's 2 volumes, and this was a single. They try to knock my top 5 out. They try to just completely destroy my top 5 BL here and just weasel their way in it. I love it so much. This series is, the dynamic between these two is so good. Of course, you've got your angry character who's like jaded and mad at the world because of his trauma, and then you've got your sweet bunny character who like, and basically is a bunny character. I mean, he's studying to be a vet, so he loves taking care of animals, which means he loves taking care of our wounded guy here. And it's just very sweet to an extent. So they spend the night together, a drunken night together. He wakes up, he doesn't remember, and so he vows revenge. And of course, whenever that happens, you know, we can't help but fall ourselves. And so these 2 volumes are definitely trying to push out some of my top BL to take that spot. And I love this series, and I'm so glad I reread it. The first time I read it, I gave both volumes a 4. The second time, I gave both volumes a 5. I just really enjoyed rereading this series, and glad that I picked it for this challenge. So that's it. That's my wrap up for Shay's Manga Love Challenge. I thoroughly enjoyed reading all of these works, and so glad that I got a chance to experience some new ones, and I got a chance to finally start Yona and finish Freya. All in all, it was a really good challenge, and I'm glad that I participated, because I got to knock some things off my TBR, which I'm always trying to do. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you participated in the Manga Love Challenge, let me know what you read in the comments. Let me know what books you picked. If you have a wrap-up video or a TBR video, put it in the comments. I would love to watch it. And for those of you who did not participate, tell me, what is a series that is on your shelf and has been on your shelf forever and you just still haven't read it yet? Kind of like Yona was for me. So let me know that in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, click the bell, all the standard YouTube things, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.